Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Natalie Schlutt. I'm a manifestation coach and I channel spirit guides, and I am so excited to be YouTubing again. I know that I've been off the YouTube for quite a while now. It's been over a year and a half, and I just want to say thank you so much to all of the people that have reached out and commented on my videos and asked, hey, where are you? What's going on? And sending me so much love and light. I've really genuinely appreciated it. I went through a huge injury and health crisis. I ended up falling very, very hard, and I had whiplash, a concussion, and traumatic brain injury. So that's why I've been gone for close to 2 years now, offline for a while, just taking care of my health and like doing a lot of healing. It's been the biggest gift, as crazy as it seems. I've learned so much, I've grown so much. And if you want to hear more about my journey and what I went through and all the hard lessons that I had to learn, you can check out my podcast, the Successful Soul Podcast. I go more into depth about what I've gone through, why I was offline, and why I'm coming back now with renewed energy, renewed inspiration, and just so excited to be bringing you so much more content and to dive deeper into all of these amazing subjects on law of attraction, how to manifest better, talking about past lives, karma, reincarnation, and channeling your spirit guides, angels, and really just living your highest and best life, because that's what it's all about, right? We're here on planet Earth. We want to be growing, we want to be evolving, and we just want to live a good life, whatever that means to you. And that's going to be very different from person to person. So once again, thank you so much. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified about all of my upcoming videos. Not only will I have weekly longer videos like this one where we go a little more in depth on certain subjects, but I'm also going to be doing daily manifestation tips, which I'm really excited about, and I hope you are too. Today's episode is all about karma, past lives, and how that affects the law of attraction and what we're experiencing with our manifestations on a daily basis. This is a really interesting subject that I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about, but it's so important. So we're going to be covering the big stuff, like what is reincarnation, what is karma, how does it work, how does it affect what we're trying to manifest in our life? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it a neutral thing? And kind of how to navigate that entire world around our karma. One reason why I wanted to talk about this subject is because I've personally noticed that with a lot of my clients, a lot of the people that are in my online group coaching programs and with my one-on-one students, there has a tendency to be this slight obsession with figuring out the cause and effect of why I've manifested the things that I've manifested. And although it can be really valuable for a lot of people to reflect on your life and ask yourself, okay, why is this happening? What did I do? What part did I play? I see where a lot of people have a tendency to shift into the negative of doing this self-blame, where they're so hard on themselves for manifesting something that they didn't want, that it actually becomes more of a negative manifestation. And so it's very healthy if we love ourselves unconditionally, if we treat ourselves well, if we let go of perfectionism, if we hold on to this loving space where we're always patient and kind to ourselves and the process of learning and growing. And when we come from that space and we reflect on the cause and effect things, right? The karma of things that maybe we've done in this lifetime or other lifetimes that we're unaware of, when we approach it from that place of love, then it can be a very healthy process. We can actually fully experience and take ownership of who we've been, what we've done, past actions, but we can also honor and appreciate that's who I was last year or 10 years ago. That's something I did in the past and I've learned since then. I don't need to continue to beat myself up over it. I don't need to continue to punish myself and be hard on myself. And when you're coming from that space, this can be a very healthy process, but I actually find the majority of the people that I work with shift into the opposite. The moment when they think about their karma or they try to go down the rabbit hole of, oh, the universe is doing this to me because I did A, B, and C in the past, that is where I find people get into trouble. And it's actually a really unhealthy pattern, and it is not serving you. When you become obsessive about figuring out how you can punish yourself over things that you've manifested that you didn't really like, then you're actually moving completely in the wrong direction with how you're thinking, feeling, and vibrating, and therefore with what you're attracting more of. When you let go of being hard on yourself, you let go of punishing yourself over and over again for things for the past, then you actually show up in a better state, a higher level of vibration. And that's where you want to be in order to manifest more of the good stuff. It is completely impossible for you to figure out every train of thought and every strand of connection to your past in this lifetime or others for why you're experiencing karmic retribution. And you know what? You don't need to figure it out. So I actually encourage all of my students to let that go. Please do not try and dig deep into figuring out why this one thing happened. Yes, we want to analyze, but we don't want to overthink it. And that pattern of trying to figure out what went wrong is actually focusing on the negative. So instead, let's figure out what went right, or what can I do better, right? When we think about what we can do better, we can still reflect on the things that we've done in the past that maybe had a bad effect. And we can do it from a space of how can I improve this, instead of focusing on the problem in the past or focusing on the punishment of the past and then never coming up with the solution for how you're going to move forward with your life. Karma is actually a really beautiful thing. It's not meant to be a punishment in any way. It's meant to be neutral in how it shows up for us so that there are consequences and we can learn and grow. It's a neutral energy that just helps to balance things out so that we can keep evolving and making choices and up leveling. If we didn't have consequences for how we were thinking, feeling, and acting through karma or through the law of cause and effect, because they kind of are similar, right? It's this idea that when you throw something, it's going to fall on the ground. There's a consequence to that. You're going to break something if you actually throw it on the ground, right? Depending on what it is. And so we have those cause and effect things. There are these laws of karma. And when it comes to how it works on an energetic level in your life with your thoughts and your emotions, it's very elusive. It's less linear than something like throwing a ball over a fence and you know it's going to get there, right? You cause something to happen by throwing the ball at a certain velocity and speed and height and all of that. And you know the consequence is going to be it's going to get over the fence into the neighbor's yard. But when it comes to the energetic and spiritual world, it's not that linear and it gets very confusing. And that's why I typically don't recommend to try and go too deep into figuring out all of your karma. A better way to approach this is to allow yourself to process things as they come up. When things come up and things feel like they're chaotic, there's problems in your life, you're coming across challenges, or there's just troublesome things, there's a reason for those things happening. Those are the moments when you're experiencing some level of karmic retribution, which means this is your opportunity. This is your chance to show up in a better way, right? This is where the law of attraction really comes into play and how it interacts with our karma, because that information that you're getting from your external reality or from a way that you're feeling inside, those things are there to teach you something, to cause you to look at it and to observe it, not from a place of why is this happening? I'm the victim to this emotion. I'm a victim to what's going on in my circumstances and woe is me, because that's the kind of energy that's actually going to attract more of those things, right? The law of attraction is this overlay on top of the experience that you're having in your life. And so maybe you are experiencing some karmic retribution. Let's take like a bad experience that maybe happened. Say you cheated on a past relationship and then you're in a relationship where someone's cheating on you, or you've shoplifted in the past and then suddenly someone breaks into your car and steals some of your stuff. Now those are very linear, kind of obvious things, but a lot of the things that we experience through karmic retribution aren't necessarily that linear. But what we can do in those situations is show up better. Now, let's take the relationship experience. Had you, after you had cheated on someone, gone through the process of healing, forgiving yourself, forgiving them, taking ownership of how you showed up in that relationship, apologizing, genuinely apologizing, and then doing the inner work to completely change your vibration, that would be a situation where you have healed your karma. And therefore, you may never have anyone cheat on you in the future. If you don't learn your lesson, then you're still vibrating at the frequency of a lack of trust, of being an untrustworthy person, and your new partner will feel that. And most likely, there will be an opportunity for them to cheat on you or something else negative. It may not be the exact same thing. Again, this is not a linear process. That's not how karma necessarily works, but the energy behind it will be similar. So they may offend you or betray you in some way that is different, but of a similar energetic vibration. And so that's something to keep in mind and to consider. Now, let's say you are in that relationship and you didn't learn your lesson and something comes forth with the new partner, and this is like that betrayal, right? Now you actually need to deal with it. This is time for you to do the inner work, and you can clear that. You can clear that by reflecting, by showing up better, by changing who you are and how you're thinking, how you're feeling, how you're treating the people around you, not just in these romantic relationships, but on an everyday basis. How are you treating strangers? How are you treating your family and friends? These are things that you can do in order to balance out that karma, because again, it's not there to punish you. You're just receiving what you're putting out, right? Whatever you give is what you get back. And so when you choose to give more love, when you choose to show up as an honest and trustworthy person, you are going to receive in return people and things in your environment that are trustworthy, that are stable, that honor and respect you, because that's how you are showing up for these situations. And so these are the bigger lessons. These are why we have karma in our life, is to kind of balance all of that out so that we can learn, we can grow, and we can consciously choose to make better choices. We can consciously choose to show up better for our life. This is the beauty of karma, and how beautiful and seamless it kind of balances in and plays a part and co-creates with the law of attraction. Now, with all of this said, I want you to keep in mind that I truly believe that we actually come into each lifetime with contracts, with things and milestones that we have decided we wanted to learn in this lifetime. We kind of decide, hey, I haven't learned the lesson, or I'm working on the lesson. Let's go back to the same one around honesty and trust and like building that deep connection with people. I want in this lifetime to experience a deeper connection. And so in order to do that, you need to evolve mentally and emotionally to be able to receive that. And so you may choose that this is going to be a lifetime where you have multiple long-term relationships, where in each relationship you are growing and learning. And that may be necessarily not as a punishment, again, because karma is not a punishment, but you may have chosen these big milestones, these big things to happen in your life prior to coming into the physical body that you are currently in. And so understand, this is where I really shy away from having clients and students hone in and like try to figure out, where did this come from? What did I do wrong in order to like have this horrible life event happen, or what seems like a distressing, horrible life event to happen? And so that's where we can get confused, because we don't always know. You may have chosen prior to coming in this lifetime to have a challenging event around your relationships, around money, around your career, around your lifestyle and where you live, maybe around health issues as well. And so don't blame yourself for necessarily having these so-called problems in your life, or try and figure out what was your karma. Why am I experiencing this now? I don't deserve this. We don't want to play that game, because that really messes with your psyche and it messes with how you're showing up. You're in that moment, you're no longer being intentional about what you're creating. You're now dwelling on this negative spiral that's going to take you into a vortex that you don't want to go in. That's actually going to manifest things you don't necessarily want. So for example, I truly believe that I chose to come into this lifetime with a lot of health issues. I truly believe that. There's a lot of things that I've read when it comes to past lives and to like some of the things that we've set intentionally. And I've had chronic pain for over 20 years. And I've dealt with a lot of digestive issues. I've had a lot of injuries. I've experienced migraines. And there's just a lot of health stuff that I have. But I can look at it in very different ways. I could say, hey, what's wrong with me? Why do I deserve this? What's going on here? And I can play the victim to this role, or I can look at it and think, you know what? Maybe I chose this because I wanted to learn, I wanted to grow, I wanted to experience more, I wanted to be able to help more people. And if I can't go through these things, how can I share my knowledge and wisdom for others? Maybe I chose this because I wanted to be a healer. If you never have any health problems, you're not going to be a healer, most likely because you've never gone through anything and had to overcome it. So you just don't relate or understand people that do have chronic health issues. And so because I did, I can understand and relate to those type of people. And I've done so much work that I can actually help and guide and coach others in this realm. And so when you take something that's kind of negative, instead of punishing yourself, how is this a gift? How is this something that has actually helped you and really allowed you to flourish and grow in your life? Understand that planet Earth is painful for everyone. There are things happening every single day to all of us. We all go through hardships. We all experience grief and anger and frustration, and we all hit rock bottom at some point in some different way. And that is completely normal. This is a part of being human. This is a part of the growth process. This is a part of your free will to choose how you're going to show up to these situations. We can't always control the situations and the problems that show up for our life. They just happen for whatever reason, whether it's karmic retribution from a past life that you're now repaying, whether it's something that you consciously chose when you were on the other side before coming to this lifetime because you wanted to learn and experience, hey, I don't know what it feels like to have great grief. I've had a lot of lifetimes, but maybe I just haven't experienced really deep grief. And maybe that was a choice that you made to come into this lifetime and to experience and process grief. And so you're wondering why, you lose people in your life, but maybe that was not necessarily a karma thing, but just something that you wanted to learn and experience, because that's what this life is about. It's just about learning. It's just about experiencing different things, the good, the bad, the indifferent. And what we do have control over is how we show up for the situation, how we process it, how we learn, how we grow, how we allow ourselves to be present and self-aware in order to experience whatever this world has to offer for us. Another big reason why sometimes we can't ever even remotely figure out why we're experiencing certain karmic problems in our life is because we can actually have karma from past lives, but it doesn't even necessarily mean it was from the most recent life. We can reincarnate and have multiple lifetimes, and the karma from maybe 3 lifetimes ago or 50 lifetimes ago is coming up in this lifetime now for you to process and deal with. On a soul level, your soul is so big, it's so huge, it has so many facets to it, and it's a combination of every life you've lived, and you've come into different bodies with different emotions, different preferences, different energies, different DNA, right? We have energy in our human physical body, in our DNA, in the cells of our body, that has this ancestral lineage. So when you look at your family tree and where you came from, like there's the physical body energy that you're holding from the human ancestral, but there's also the past life energy. We have energetic information and vibrations that we're holding on to from the physical human part of us, and then also from the soul, the non-physical part of us. So there are things we might be experiencing karmically that are actually in the DNA, like the actual physical part of your body and the cells of your body that you're holding on to from vibrations and energies from your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, right? The physical human lineage. Like when you look at your family tree, you might be holding on to karma, energy, vibrations, like mental beliefs and paradigms and emotions, and even like physical things, physical health things that are coming through like the ancestral lineage, the physical human lineage. So you might be experiencing things from that realm. But then we also have this other side of us, and that is the soul part of us. That is the non-physical part of us. Right now in your physical body, you might only be 10% of your soul. You might be 3%, you might be 50%. But that soul part of you has lived many, many lifetimes, and each lifetime that you've lived, you actually come into a different physical family tree, a different physical body, a different physical energy. So this meat suit that you're hanging out in has one physical energy, and then your soul is a completely different compilation of all these other lives and all of these other human experiences that you've had. And so know that karma can also be playing a role in that. So the emotions that we feel, the belief systems that we hold, the fears, the phobias and things like that can actually come from either side, right? They can come from like a physical learned thing through ancestral lineage, but it could also be something from a past life that was a totally different family tree, you know, and things like that. And I've seen both of those actually show up not only in my own life, but with my students. So for example, I've noticed that I've met a few people that have phobias, like a phobia of a cat or a dog or something. And for some of those people, it's not that they had a bad experience with a cat or dog when they were a kid, but it was like their mother actually had a phobia around cats. And so it was a learned behavior. And maybe that her mother had a phobia around cats. So again, it's this learned behavior. So it's kind of an ancestral thing. But it could also be you feel it in your DNA and in your body because you are a physical part of your parents and your grandparents. I have also seen people that have phobias being on the water and in boats. And then when they do a past life regression, they find out that they actually died in a boat in a past lifetime. You know, they were sailing the high seas and the boat flipped over and they lost all of their friends and family. And so you may have a phobia that's from a totally different lifetime as well. And so sometimes those things are coming through. Now, do you have to know where it came from? No. Do you have to pinpoint the past lifetime or pinpoint where it came in your ancestral lineage? No. If you can pick it up, great, that's fine. It's just a piece of information, but that doesn't actually heal anything. The healing happens with being aware of what's happening, being aware of the phobia, being aware of the sensation in your body and nervous system, being aware of the thoughts that are coming up, and consciously choosing to heal that, choosing to heal your body, choosing to heal your mind, and transition into a space where you now feel neutral about those subjects. So you actually have no emotional reaction when you're around cats. You have no emotional reaction when you're on a boat or in the water or at the beach, lake, so forth. So when you shift, you actually do the healing around what you're experiencing in the here and now. That's the actual work. That's the work that you need to be doing so that you have your transformation, so that you raise your vibration. You're clearing out the gunk that isn't serving you anymore. And now you're vibrating at a higher space where you're manifesting more of what you want in your life. And that's what this is all about. And that's what all this shadow work, this inner work is about. It's about healing so that we can experience more of the good stuff. Because remember, the law of attraction is responding to how you respond to life. It's not responding to your old karma. It's not responding to those things. It's responding to how you show up for the things that show up for you. How you show up for the challenges in your life. How you show up and deal with your own emotions, your own thoughts and patterns. That's what the law of attraction is responding to. The bottom line is you are creating karma right now. You are always creating it in the now based off of how you're choosing to show up right now. All we have is the now. The past, the future, those are just thoughts, right? That's just our imagination. Those are just things that are elusive. What you have control over is this moment and this moment and this moment. And so that's where the work happens. The work always happens in the now. If you have any questions about this content, please share your questions and comments in the comments below of this YouTube video. Be sure to like this video and subscribe so that more people get to see this video. The higher rankings, the more views, the more likes, the more this amazing content gets spread to everyone else in the world. And if you want to stay up to date with all of my teachings, all the new stuff that I have, and lots of free resources, be sure to subscribe to my email list. I even have an entire free download library with all kinds of good stuff. I'm going to put the link down in the comments below so you can check that out. Stay tuned for all of my upcoming videos and check out the playlist that I have on my YouTube page. I have lots of playlists based off the subjects that you might be interested in, so it's a great way to binge watch.